Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. It's the Icc Boot Camp for May 7th, 2015. We'll be underway in just 2 minutes. There's some more people gathering at the entrance, and we want to give them a chance to get on board. So we'll start right at the top of my hour, and that's about 1 minute from now, depending upon what clock I look at, of course. But anyway, very exciting information to share with you today. Probably more information than what we can all handle. But history is in the making. I am absolutely blown away with the changes that have occurred in just the first 5 months of this year. It's unbelievable. Anyway, all right, well, let's get ourselves started. Thank you for being here with me. Gary here is your host and webinar leader. I am back on the Google Hangouts through Webinar Jam. The other system, it too had its problems. Put a gray screen right in the center of the screen, and you couldn't see anything. And I did 2 webinars yesterday where that occurred, and I had to completely shut down my computer, reboot, and then it came back again. So I've contacted them to see what the problem is, and they'll get back to me tomorrow, which is too late for today. So here we are in the old Webinar Jam system. Having said that, I'm hoping to be able to participate in the WGN system now that it's up and operational, and that will be my system of choice, hopefully starting next week. So the learning curve is vertical. It's like trying to climb a greased pole. You get part way up and slide back down. But anyway, it's fun, and we're getting there. So we're going to start with taking a look at the changes that are on some of the websites. So let's go and get our screen share ready. And I think I want this screen to be shared with this start screen share, present to everyone. And so let's go ahead and take a look at chips-corner.com. Wow, I tell you, monumental house cleaning. They have certainly done a lot of changes and additions. And they're all very, 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 very positive. And so before we start with that glaring red window, I'm going to come down and just show you some of the things that they've done. In the red box section, they've made it so smooth and easy to see. We've got the education solution, the employment, the healthcare, the property ownership, energy, fuel, and tax solution. Okay, those are the common ones that everybody needs a solution for. All the others, fluff. Okay. Open letters to center, nothing there. They've cleaned that completely out, so I guess there'll be new letters to centers as they come. Where we see a lot of change is in the business opportunities section. Let's just take a moment there and take a look. So from basically 31 through to 41, gone. Then from 43 through to 63, gone. 65 was gone. And as we see, from 67 through to 89 is gone, 91 is gone, 95, 96 is gone, 98, 99, and then we have 100, 101, a few gone in here. And so the basically from 100 down is important. Now, one thing I want to point out to you, number 97, become a partner with House Services. Ben informed me that as far as he's concerned, there are no need for any more partnerships with House Services. So those people that brought Bo Ideals and Lestrada to the table, you've done an awesome job, and you've put yourself in a very unique position within the Internet Catalog Club as being a partner in those 2 setups. Obviously, we missed becoming involved with Rahino, and I guess I was saddened for that fact, but the fact that we have 2 of the 3 under the Bright Star banner makes us all proud. Should there be opportunity for others? Yes, nothing in the United States for sure. Maybe in another country, provided we have willing partners that are going to actively promote. And I think that's going to start to have people contacting us saying they want to be a part of it, because it's really, really getting exciting, the number of people that are actively promoting the protocols now. Now, the protocols that are most important to us today are 113 and 114. We're going to come back to those. Everything else is pretty much the same. And so keep an eye on what's changing and be aware of what's changing. Let's go back to the website. All the other components up here seem to be the same. And you'll see recent updates. You'll see 113 and 114 and all the recent ones that are there. News reports pretty much the same, general notice the same. And so now we come to the public-private partnership of Crown of St. Stephen House. Now, I'm sure every one of you have gone to Google and Googled it and saw the crown and oh, it's in Hungary, yay! And all the amount of people that are telling me that Hungary is now debt-free from the IMF and all these neat updates I'm getting, and I got to tell you, none of that counts. Okay, certainly the crown of St. Stephen is the actual crown of St. Stephen. It's a monarchy, and not unlike the Queen of England has a relationship with all the sovereign nations that are part of the Commonwealth, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, for easy examples. She is the head of that Commonwealth. Does she have any real say over Canada, the Australia and New Zealand governments? Probably not. But does she have personal power, and does she have a lot of knowledge? Absolutely. Now, if you take what she may or may not have, and I guess multiply that by 10, that's what you're going to see with the Crown of St. Stephen. Although they have no land holdings, I guess they operate out of their castle. I don't know. But anyway, the Crown of St. Stephen dates back to the late 3rd, early 4th century when the Pope back then gave them their official monarchy. And so it's probably, if not the oldest monarchy on the planet, one of the oldest. I didn't bother to spend too much time in the history, but I did find that the crown is dated in year 1000, and they lost their land holdings at the end of the First World War. And so there was a kerfuffle that caused that to occur. They have basically been the crown in silence, I guess working behind the scenes, see what's going on in the world and where they can make a major improvement in the world at large. And fortunately, again, Bright Star Work Center, we had a member who contacted a member who contacted a member who came back and talked with Eddie, who introduced some people to Mr. B, and Mr. B put all this together. Absolutely amazing. So we have this now public-private partnership with the Crown of St. Stephen, and we now have the Zcash and chips as the official legal sovereign currency of the Crown of St. Stephen, nunc pro tunc. That means from then until now. Now, that, in my mind, would mean from 1996, 99, when Zcash and chips were created, but what it actually means is from the beginning of the monarchy. And so not that the Zcash and chips were around, but that's what nunc pro tunc means. It means from the beginning till now. And so that puts us in a very powerful position, all of which I do not know, other than I do know that they have their own sovereign trade platform, and trading will commence very soon, if not already. And amazing things are going to occur within the next few weeks. So I'm so happy that we had over 22 members come and join with us, get their LHP retail admin fee and their employee gold application fee in. And those people are in such an advantageous situation, along with the people who had already started with the LHP admin fee from basically, I guess Bruce was the first one from Australia. And so from Bruce up till the last push this last week and a half, everybody will be grandfathered in, and that will mean different things to different people. But they're in a very, very unique situation that will bless them more than handsomely. And so I commend you for making that decision and the stretch in many cases to get yourselves into that position, and just do the work as necessary to get yourself positioned to get your promissory notes issued, and then ultimately you'll be able to collect through the public-private partnership, Crown of St. Stephen House. Awesome. All right, so let's take a quick peek at the website houseservices.com. And as you can see, this is a new website, which is linked from chips-corner.com. It has the Crown St. Stephen House Public-Private Partnership Agreement signed, and it is password protected. You're not going to see it, all right? But the good news is that you can take a look at the transaction agreement 01, which is virtually the same. Rather unique is the letterhead, and you can see the coat of arms for the Crown. A little Latin saying. Somebody that speaks Latin can look it up, I'm sure, or do a Google Translate if they have Latin in Google. But if we look at the transaction agreement, it was done officially signed for April 30th, 2015. So they moved far faster than Mr. B thought would ever happen. And this transaction agreement basically outlines the terms and conditions with which this public-private partnership has been forged. And so let's just take a quick read of it. Zcash. Zcash issued and registered by the Internet Catalog Club in club accounts is nunc pro tunc, the legal tender and sovereign currency of the Crown of St. Stephen, being each one and no cents Zcash, equaling value to two and no cents US dollars, issued by the Federal Reserve, being both Zcash and the US dollars, issued by the US Federal Reserve, respectively, construed under US federal and state laws as the convertible currency and legal tender of the United States of America. Well, what does that say to you? Pretty powerful stuff. Now, obviously, being a legal tender of the United States of America, Zcash and chips, it will take some explaining. So don't expect to go to your local grocery store and say, look, I got this Zcash account. I can get you to be a member and transfer it over and pay for my groceries. We're working on it. I'm working on a platform with an e-wallet system that will come through, to start with, my Fuel Club, that will allow for the ability to change smaller amounts of Zcash and chips back and forth through commercial exchanges. It always has to be through the buying and selling of stuff. And so what we'll be doing in that arena is using various vehicular fluids, car oil, transmission fluid, brake fluid, all the fluids sold in case lots. And so we'll be putting that together so that you'll be able to buy a case with your Zcash, and we'll sell it back to you, buy it back, and give you the currency of your choice, smaller amounts. So that's where we're headed. Now, chips, chips issued and registered in the Internet Catalog Club in club accounts are nunc pro tunc, the legal tender and sovereign currency of the Crown of St. Stephen, being one chip equals $1 US issued by the Federal Reserve, being both chips and the US dollars, issued by the US Federal Reserve, respectively, construed and under US federal and state laws as convertible sovereign currency and legal tender of the United States of America by the Crown. And then obviously there'd be signatures in there. Now, the interesting thing is that the sovereign platform, that the trading platform that the Crown has, is connected with two major central banks in Europe. Don't know what they are. One in Europe, one in Asia, and they're obviously connected with all the other central banks around the planet. So as you can see, this is a top-down situation. You and I have been actively pursuing banks from the bottom up, and it's been difficult to get from the bottom up to the top of decision makers, and usually when we do, we're not in a position where we get the results we want to see, and even when we had contracts signed, they've still reneged. Well, that's definitely in a change position because, as I say, it's coming from the top down, and how that's actually going to work yet, I do not know, but just know that they're working on the protocols to make all this happen. Now, again, if you're not seeing this, it's at www.howservices, that's HOWSERVICES.com, and you'll be able to see all these links there. I just don't know how this is shaping up and showing. All right, so back over here to the transaction agreement number 2. Let's take a look at that. Now, this is a 2-pager, and the exchanging of Zcash and or chips for other currencies. So this will outline the basics, and then we'll go to the protocol to get the details. An owner of the Internet Catalog Club account wherein Zcash and or chips are registered may request that Zcash and chips therein be depleted and replaced with a bank account with equal value currency as may be selected by the owner. Now, the request must be sent to House Services at the Zcash chips exchange at Change 2100. Don't be sending it there. It needs to go through the Work Center. I'll be sending it there. All right, so everything's got to flow through the Work Center. The exchange will take place as per a customized currency exchange agreement governed solely by under the jurisdiction, venue, and laws of the Crown of St. Stephen. The process will be based on acceptable documentary funds being used as the basis for non-depletion, non-risk, electronic commercial financial trading by licensed professionals contracted by the public-private partnership of St. Stephen House. Now, 20% of the after-cost profits will be allocated as compensation to the licensed professional traders executing the process. That has not changed. They get the first 20% right off the top. 40% of after-cost profits will be retained as income by the public-private partnership, Crown of St. Stephen's. And then 20% of the after-cost profits will be dispersed as per the currency exchange agreement as income to coordinates specified by the source of the documentary funds. 20% of after-cost profits in the selected currency will be placed into an exchange account with a bank approved by the public-private partnership, Crown of St. Stephen House, as per the currency exchange agreement to be accumulated. The approved bank will provide a 50% loan to value loan, LTV, to the owner of the club account against funds deposited in the exchange account, placing proceeds into a loan account for the benefit of the owner of the club account to be repaid using funds deposited in the exchange account as per the terms and conditions stipulated in the currency exchange agreement. So we still need to find financial institutions. You may already have one. The process will, I think, be unfolding whereby you will say, I have an account at Wells Fargo, and I would like to have the ability to help me collect my promissory note or my Zcash or my chips. And to that light, I would like to have an account set up for the promissory note creator, which would be Lestrada or Bo Ideals. And so that arrangement would be set, and then from the top down, instruction would come from the Crown to the bank head office, and then from the head office to the branch where you're at. That's the way I think it's going to be. Don't know exactly, but it's going to be, I think, a lot more fluid, and there'll be a lot less strife in getting the account set up for Bo Ideals or Lestrada. Now, upon deposit of proceeds of a loan into a loan account with funds made readily available to the owner of the club account, the owner will have been fully paid equal value Zcash and or chips depleted from the club account. Zcash and or chips thus depleted will have been cleared and will no longer be registered. Timing is market dependent and cannot be determined beforehand. However, once the process is operational, interim financing may be arranged so as to obtain exchange currency more rapidly. So that is an option. Obviously, they're not going to give you the full proceeds of the loan until the loan has been covered, but you do have the ability to get some of the funds either through them or through another bank in the meantime if you're in a urgent situation. So that's the next document that you can review and get a list of any questions you may have. And let's go over here to number 3. Now, number 3 talks about the promissory notes and international bill of exchange. The public-private partnership, Crown of St. Stephen House, will hereinafter be referred to as public-private partnership, PPP. And so I've named it on the website PPPB, and I guess if you got to go, you got to go. Anyway, it's the public-private partnership protocols. So the following entities are authorized by the Crown of St. Stephen to issue promissory notes and international bills of exchange as per the laws of the Crown of St. Stephen, collateralized by Zcash and or by chips. So Rahino, number 1, First Off Blocks, Estrada, Bo Ideals, Bright Stars Involvement, we're blessed, House Services, of course, Texas Holdings, U.S. Professionales de El Salvador, Ocho in El Salvador, Millennium ES Corp, Panama, Navigators International, Bahamas, Diversified Business Interest, Bahamas, Blue Millennium Foundation, Panama, Incredible Concepts, the Bahamas, and Incredible Concepts, Nevada. We have Incredible Concepts in Belize, Business Network Systems Service Firm in Belize, USPIS, Collins County, Texas DBA, Casa de Bambino, Collins County, and then Fetus Gestation Financiera, which is the Fetus Bank. Number 19, any other entities that the Crown of St. Stephen may so provide and authorize in a new transaction agreement pursuant to the public-private partnership. And finally, number 20, any other entities that House may so provide for further authorization by the Crown of St. Stephen in a new transaction agreement. So there's room to add more here. So that leaves it open for, obviously, the House Service Partnership to be expanded, but it's not going to be expanded in the United States, to my knowledge. And I was told the only way it will get expanded is if the players come to the table with some funds and with some serious desire to do some really good things internationally. So those of you that have been pursuing opportunities in other parts of the world will probably need to talk, and you'll need to give me an update as to where you're at. And then I can get with Ben and let him know what you're trying to achieve and see if you're going to be wasting your time or whether it's still going to be a go. All right? So I don't want anybody spending time on anything that's not going to come to fruition for you. It's hard enough to do as it is without having a no before you get started. Now, any type of promissory note to be issued must first be registered with the public-private partnership and authorized in writing by House Services, Inc., hereby charged to act for the said purposes only as an agent of the Crown of St. Stephen pursuant to the public-private partnership. Should promissory note or international bill of exchange not explicitly state the applicable jurisdiction, venue, or law, said financial instrument, Zcash and or chips, in derogation of any relevant international treaty or potentially applicable domestic laws, are hereby unconditionally and irrevocably construed as being subject solely to the jurisdiction, relevant venue, and applicable laws of the Crown of St. Stephen. Zcash and chips at all times and under any circumstances are hereby unconditionally and irrevocably declared nunc-pro-tunc as being respectively convertible sovereign currencies and legal tender of the Crown of St. Stephen. Now, let's go back to that example we used with the Chinese renminbi. Remember the inability for anybody to use renminbi outside of China. And yet, how much Chinese product do you have in your home today? Well, somebody set something up, and it started obviously with the story of Tricky Dick Nixon setting up Pepsi-Cola in both China and in Russia. And Pepsi-Cola was paid in renminbi and ruble, and they set up rice beer from China and vodka from Russia in the United States, and they were paid with US dollars, and that's how this whole thing got started. Well, the same thing will start to happen here, and as we see the relationship develop with the Crown of St. Stephen with other banks around the world in the central banking arena, you'll start to see this more readily accepted. So we're in a very powerful position. Now you can see just the top of the seal here and by the Crown, and so underneath this there is signatures, etc. And the reason it's not shown is quite obvious. It's a private contract, and we don't want anything to be ever copied. So the way the copiers work these days, you can copy just about anything. So, all right, last but not least, we have one more document to share, and this was pointed out to me by Bruce this morning in our morning conversation, an appointment document. And this was so exciting to see. Let me just make it big enough so I can read it. All right, sovereign decree. We, His Imperial and Royal Majesty, Most Serene Highness, preamble, by the grace of God and by the right of magistral succession, suis juris, Most Serene Sovereign Prince Grand Master. So it's not a king, it's a prince that's in charge, obviously, of this monarchy. And indisputable and absolute supreme head by land and by sea, in legitimate magistrative succession from the august founder, under Christ, Emperor Constantine I, the Great, of the Constantinian Imperial Military Order of Nemanja, dynasty, under the patronage of Saint Stephen, have resolved to appoint Mr. Benjamin Wallace Young Jr. as Ambassador at Large, and consequently have decreed and do decree at the see of our Grand Mastership the following sovereign decree on this first day of May 2015. Part 1, effective immediately. Appointment of Ambassador at Large. In accordance with his most kind and most generous desire and plea to serve pro bono publico under the sovereign authority of our Imperial and Royal Most Serene Person, Mr. Benjamin Wallace Young Jr., born in Texas, United States of America on October 10th, 1943, is hereby appointed Ambassador at Large of our Imperial and Royal Most Serene Person for life, or until he, of his own free will, and subject to our Imperial and Royal Most Serene Person acceptance, resigns for any reason whatsoever. Pursuant to the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1961, and the Convention on Special Missions in 69, HE Ambassador at Large Benjamin Wallace Young Jr. holds the rank of Head of Mission. Wow, what an honor. Part 2 says, as consequence of his office, Ambassador at Large Benjamin Wallace Young Jr. will by right rise to the office of Count Palatine, or Palatine, personal, will be addressed as his lordship, and will hold the qualification of Don. Whenever applicable, this sovereign decree will also serve as a letter of credence. And obviously it's signed by the prince. Amazing, absolutely amazing. What a fabulous position the Internet Catalog Club has been put into. Truly being blessed. All right, well, I don't want to run out of time. We've got a lot of things to cover. Let's move back to, where do you go? Financial Hope. All right, so let's go over to Financial Hope now. If it's not changing screens, please go to legacyassurance.net, the left-hand toolbar, and exchange Zcash to PNs. Now, this is specific to people who have already come forward with their LHP $5,000 admin fee, and so we're starting that protocol. I just wanted to point out, those that haven't had a personal interview with me yet, this is what we'll be doing, and those of you that are wanting to do this, you'll know what you have to do. So you'll decide what currencies you will be using, BVK, Zcash, or chips, and I believe we can arrange for some BVK, some Zcash, and some chips to be all combined under one order. It'll take a little more work, but it can be done. It would be preferable that you use your BVK and you have that protocol available to you. The Zcash, obviously, and the chips, your choice, what way you're going to do that. So what you're going to need to do is do an outline of debt and outline of other requests, personal funding, new car, new home, etc. You're going to need to create promissory notes for additional promissory note LHP retail admin fees. I would suggest a minimum of $25,000. Many of the members who are already in have done 100,000 or 200,000, but a minimum, so you've got 5 admin fees. Now, especially for brand new people that are coming on board. What they're going to want to do is obviously they'll spend their $5,000, get the admin fee. They'll want to take the Zcash that they have and spend another $5,000 and bring that system back through so they can get double the amount of Zcash and chips. And so that would be a way to go about doing that. Now, then we have the creation of the public-private partnership protocol, the PPP. I would suggest a minimum of $300,000 because it's $150,000 for those of you that do not have documentary funds. And you say, well, why so much? Well, you had the opportunity for quite a while, for 3-4 months, where you didn't have to come up with that. But that's the way it is now. So you have the ability now to go out and earn the fee of $150,000 by sponsoring 3 businesses in that will be actively involved, and you'll earn $50,000 for each one of the $150,000 admin fees that they pay to be able to take access to the documentary funds that are available. You'll also want to create your promissory note for the employee gold business coefficient. I am suggesting rather strongly that every member of Bright Star Work Center actively support the employee gold protocol along with the San Miguel El Salvador solution to end gang violence. And so if you're going to be working through our work center, be prepared to spend your $175 to do your application fee. So you'd need the $51.75. And I've updated a application submission form here that's accurate. And we'll have to wait until Firefox starts to respond. Anyway, you'll need to work closely with me to get your employee gold application submission. And then obviously you'll be able to create a promissory note for the advertising business coefficient, and that'll get you a whole pile more Zcash to be able to support walking billboard advertising for your own business, and you can build a business this way. So it's a huge opportunity with which to be able to participate in. So very, very exciting information, and we seem to be in a not responding mode at this present moment. So, oh, there we go. All right, so now I can scroll down. In this particular example, I finally got everything correct. I went over with Mr. R, and you get the $10,720,000. You round up to the 11 million, so that's 11 times 7,500, which is 82.5. So that's the promissory note amount for your business coefficient that you would use. I did one this morning for Roy, and it came out to 14, so he's at 112,500, I think, but then he's going to get a lot more funding as well. So the advantage here is that you're going to get the 10,720,000 times 2, that's 21 million, plus you're going to get the 82.5 times 50, that's half of 4,125,000. So this is a way to parlay $175 plus your existing promissory notes into well, basically another 10 million Zcash, which is another 20 million USD, add another $5,000 admin fee, and that doubles. So if you needed 40 million to get a project done, now you've got the way to do it. So super way to expand, and remember that you have to be coming to the table with a proper business plan, because it's going way beyond my desk. It's going to a committee for review. So the first step will be to get your employee gold application done. From there, we'll get your business plan done. You go to bpbplans.com and choose a suitable template. It's free, so learn how to do it, and that way you'll be able to create a business or businesses. And you can do this as many times as you want. And obviously, by having the 2 $150,000 fees, you know you can do it 2 times. And if you did this every time and put in a promissory note for $300,000, you're just going to be paying it forward and never come out of pocket again. So that's how that's going to shape up. All right, so let's go back over here, and we'll go back to main page. Now we're going to go down here to the business opportunities section, and there's 113 and 114. Using documentary funds provided by ICIB, that's the one that most of us will be using, myself included. We do have a group out of California that are proceeding to use their own documentary funds, and we're hoping that'll come to fruition. And so there is the protocol for that. I'm not going to go over this one today. We don't have time. You can read it. It's virtually the same. The fees are less. So if you can provide your own documentary funds, the fees are less. All right, so this ties into what we just saw on the other documents from the Crown. And so I'll try and decipher what's being said here. Certainly make a list of any questions you have so that we can get the answers for you. And I'll short form some of this. I'm just going to use the Crown for the Crown of St. Stephen and the IRS notice. I'm not going to bother saying it all out because I've got a speech impediment. My tongue is rather chewed on one side and I can't really talk that well. So Zcash and chips are legal tender sovereign currency. Let that sink in, folks. It's not convertible virtual currency anymore. It is actual legal tender sovereign currency like Swiss francs, like French francs, like British pound sterling, like US dollars, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, whatever currencies out there, this ranks there as equal, if not better than, because these currencies, Zcash and chips, are backed by precious metals. The qualifications declared by the IRS notice to be classified as convertible virtual currency, which the US IRS declares may be used to pay for goods and services or held for investment. Now, in talking with Mr. B yesterday, he said, Gary, we're not here to sell anybody into this. If they need more information than what's here, it's just not available. And if they're not interested, who cares? Quite frankly, we're beyond trying to force anybody to get rich and force anybody to do any of what's available to them. The leadership of the club, the people that have already come forward with their 5,000, those are the people we're going to be working closely with to get them through to the currencies of their choice. And as we develop our businesses, we'll bring on suppliers, both services and goods, and those people will be participating in the protocols. Otherwise, they won't be supplying to us. And from there, we'll see where we go. But to actively pursue new members, not necessary. And it's not that it's a closed shop. It's just that we're not here to have to prove anything to anybody. It's already done. It's already proven. The IRS has said it. Crown of St. Stephen has said it. The U.S. government has said it. It's done. All right. Additionally, contracted through the public-private partnership Crown transaction agreement number 2 shows the protocol to be followed in order to exchange Zcash and/or chips for other currency. However, only ICIB is authorized to customize and engage in a currency exchange agreement. I have yet to see one created, but I'll be working on it, and so I don't know if we'll be able to show it, but let's just know that they have it. ICIB is prepared to provide documentary funds as stipulated in the transaction agreement number 2 to be used as the basis for a currency exchange agreement club account. That's all you listening, wherein Zcash and/or chips is registered, may use these to acquire retail LHP sand. That's the only protocol we will be using, is the LHP sand. All right. So you can't select anything other than LHP sand for the buying and selling. Said entity is hereinafter club account owner. Now, the retail LHP sand purchase and resale may be customized and contracted with ICIB, but shall be consummated only after ICIB has successfully initiated the transaction agreement number 2. Using proceeds from the transaction agreement number 2, ICIB shall, as per the customized contract, pay for the retail LHP sand by establishing directly or through surrogates an exchange account and a loan account in a bank mutually acceptable to ICIB and the club account owner. And ICIB shall fund these as stipulated in the transaction agreement number 2. As per transaction agreement number 2, in order to receive funding, the entity contracting with ICIB must qualify for a loan with the institution wherein the exchange account and the loan account are established. So if you can't qualify for the loan, you want to give your promissory note to somebody else to qualify, who can qualify for a loan. So if you got super bad credit and you just aren't there, you're going to need to negotiate with a surrogate to help you. As per the transaction agreement, let me just point out, why do we need to do this? Well, first of all, to be a part of the system, the only way you can move money around on this planet is to have it loaned into existence, number 1. Number 2, we're going to be finding that these promissory notes will be used like cash because they are cash, and they'll not necessarily end up in the hands of somebody we may know. It may go through 25 or 30 people before that person says, well, I'm going to go collect. Well, we have to do the KYC. We are not set up to do KYC, but the banks are. So that particular individual will have to go to a bank, probably one they're already dealing with, so the KYC has probably already been done, and then set up the exchange account for the proper LLC creator to submit the documentary funds and get it going. Now, upon signing of the contract, irrespective of consummation thereof, ICIB charges a contract preparation fee of 2% of the value of the Zcash and/or chips that are to be used to acquire the retail LHP. So it's 2%. It's not just the 150,000. So those of you that have got huge, big projects in your mind, you just know that it's 2%, not just the 150,000. This fee must be paid by the club account owner with Zcash and/or chips registered, which will be used to acquire the retail LHP. If the deposit is less than or equal to 150,000, the full amount of 150,000 USD, not chips or Zcash, must be paid with the bank deposited funds acceptable to ICIB when contract is signed or as may be otherwise negotiated with ICIB. Well, you're going to be negotiating with me and with Eddie. And so you want to be doing business to be considered. If you're not doing business, you won't be considered. All right? So this is a work program. You can't get funds without doing the work. Otherwise, it's considered an investment. We're not in the investment business. We're not licensed to do investments. And so work must be done. So get to work and you'll be able to participate. If the 2% is greater than the 150,000, the first 150,000 must be paid with bank deposit funds acceptable to ICIB, which is USD, when contract is signed or as may otherwise be negotiated with ICIB, and the remainder shall be paid either with bank deposit funds acceptable to ICIB or with Zcash and/or chips as the club account owner may select. So if you've got a super big billion-dollar deal going down, let me just see what the 2% of a billion is. 1 billion. My calculator goes that high. Yep, times 0.02. That's 20 million. All right, so we know that 20 million is greater than 150,000. So I don't know if you're going to be coming up with the 20 million, but you certainly could probably come up with Zcash and/or chips to cover that. All right, so it must be underscored. It must be underscored and agreed that the fee charged by ICIB is a contracting fee for the preparation of commercial buy-sell of retail LHP sand. It's not an investment, and it's not a charge related to the internal processes that may be undertaken by the public-private partnership Crown, or as per transaction agreement number 2, and that the jurisdiction covering the ICIB fee and all contracts related thereto is the Crown as per the laws thereof. Now, this is important to understand. As per a Deutsche Bank research paper published in 2004, sand has an energy equivalent to its weight in high-grade coal. And ICIB is involved in the preparations to build facilities to process the sand so as to take advantage of that energy equivalency and provide clean energy worldwide. So that's why we've chosen sand, because it has a high-grade value coal value. And so we'll start to see that happen. We're looking at places in Texas to mine the sand. Got a couple of opportunities emerging in Australia where there'll be lots of sand available, and other parts of the world will be looking at bringing sand to the table as well. Now, as stipulated in the transaction agreement number 2, timing for the process to provide loan proceeds is market dependent and cannot be predetermined. Also, ICIB is not responsible for assuring that a bank will provide a loan as per the transaction agreement to the club account owner. So if you can't qualify, then I would suggest that you find somebody who can partner with them and cut them in on a piece of the action. Now, the ICIB contract fee payment shall be provided by the club account owner as per the ICIB contract payment fee. Under no circumstances will refunds be provided. You have the availability of unfulfilled expectations. News you can use 7070. We've been over that many times. For those people who are brand new, go click on the link, go look at news you can use 7070. It'll explain that we do everything internal to the club. We never use the legal system with which to adjudicate any differences of opinion or contract within the club matters. It's a private club. We handle things within the club. Okay? Members of the Internet Catalog Club may sponsor other members that engage in this protocol. Now, some of you that are brand new aren't sponsors, and this is critical. To become a sponsor, it's $5,000 for the sponsor position, and it's $1,000 for each membership. And they're available in batches of 10, so that's 15 grand you need to come up with to be an active sponsor. Now, I have come up with an alternative. For those of you that don't have the 15,000, you can join my Fuel Club. You can track your business in my Fuel Club, and I will pay you in Zcash, the equivalent of what you would receive in the USD, until you can afford to pay for your 15 grand, and then we can get you set up to do all future sponsorships that way. So again, get yourself set up as a My Fuel Club member, paid member, free member, don't really care. We're using it as a tracking system so you can track your team building efforts and the people you sponsor. And I will provide the ICC MFC membership, and you'll be able to be compensated through Zcash for your efforts. Now, when a sponsored member, if you are a sponsor, you're in a very great position. And if you have a one-member sponsor place, you paid probably 100 grand or 200 grand for it in Zcash or chips, and you probably got 100 or maybe 200 memberships. You guys are in powerhouse positions. Why? Because 1/3 of the ICIB contract preparation fee in the currency paid will be allocated to the sponsor by ICIB. So if they pay 150 grand, you get 50 grand. Now, let's say you do one of those a month. That's 650 grand a year. Not too shabby. It's a serious way to make some serious money. Now remember, we also have the $35,000 rebate fee, of which you get 11 grand out of. So there's plenty of ways to make money to pay for your 150 grand and your 35 grand and your 5 grand. This is a work program. All you have to do is roll up your sleeves and get to work. And you can earn all the monies you need to pay for the fees. Now, an amount equal to 1/6 of the ICIB contract preparation fee is allocated to the work center. So I'm pretty happy to receive 25 grand, split it with my buddy Eddie, and I'm here to support you guys and help you do all this stuff. So I do all the paperwork and help you put it all together until you can do it yourself, but I will always be doing all the paperwork, okay? All right, now these exchanges for chips may be used to obtain funds to use for fees, which we just covered, or to recover fees paid, which we haven't covered. Plus may create a business opportunity for continued high professional level income for members that engage in sponsoring as a business. So there's a fabulous business opportunity using My Fuel Club tracking system, along with receiving the Zcash, plus having your ability to use your sponsored ICC memberships in My Fuel Club. You can use mine or you can use yours, and you can use that back office to track and team build and keep in touch with your people 10 levels deep. Now, this is not multi-level marketing. but it certainly can help you if you find a real leader 10 levels down in the normal system. You would never find that person. You wouldn't even know they exist. So with this tracking system, you'd be able to keep in touch with all of the people within your organization and support the ones that want to do the work, and the ones that don't want to do the work, well, that's their choice. You don't have to build a sales organization, a sponsorship group at all. You can do this all by yourself, your choice. So there's lots and lots of room for growth and expansion through these protocols. Okay, so that's the outline. We'll have more information and probably some examples, hopefully within the next week, and we'll be able to show them to you. Now, last but not least, what I was going to do last Thursday, we're going to do today. I think maybe what I better do is just come back to Google Hangouts, and we'll stop the screen sharing for a moment. And I'll go back to screen sharing and see if I can bring back the new screen that I want to share. Present to everyone. What a silly system. All right, let's bring up the Word document. And again, this Word document will be available to anybody who wishes to have it. I'm not posting it because we're getting far too many people from other work centers taking our materials. So if you want it, you got to contact me and then I'll give it to you. Now, the old way versus the new way of buying and selling products and services. This is so powerful. Every business out there needs to see this document. The old way, buy low, sell high, it covers your costs, and you make profit. I was in that business. I was in the music business. I would sell pianos and organs and sound equipment and guitars and amps and you name it. Anything that made a noise, I sold it. Kazoos to jaw harps. So we would buy it for $60. We'd sell it for $100. That was pretty much traditional, but the big centers would discount 20%. So I would either have to compete with them or I'd lose the business. So it cuts your profit margin, and that's what's been happening. Everybody is trying to undercut their competitor because that's just the way this system works. Well, this works fine until there's too much competition. Then everyone undercuts the price to compete for the dwindling market. Then everyone lays off employees and finally move their operations to a developing nation for cheap labor and materials so they can still compete and survive, or they go out of business. Are you familiar with this old way? Look at how many stores are closing between the big retailers, Macy's and Kmart and Sears and Walmart, closing up these stores. Why? Well, people in the United States don't have any money anymore. The jobs that they once had to buy the big fancy homes that they are in and can't afford anymore have gone to European and Asian markets. And so we have no middle class. We have the rich who are getting richer far faster than they should, and the poor are getting poorer by the second. So you need to be able to understand that we have the solution for all of this. We can pay people $112,000 to come to the ucofc.info website and build their little team and learn commerce. And I'll pay them $100,000 in BVK and $12,500 in Zcash just for learning how to build the team and to learn commerce. So the results are dismal long term because the people that were employed who are part of the market you sell to no longer have a job. And even when you offer a lower cost product or service because they don't have a job, they have no money to buy even at the cheaper price. Well, isn't that where we are today, folks? We are right there. So sadly, there is a disappearing middle class in North America. They can no longer consume, let alone sustain the lifestyle they once had. And just look at all the major retailers. Ask them, how's business? They might, try and shine you on and say, oh, business is really great. Well, then how come you close so many stores? How many staff have you recently laid off? How many banks have laid off staff? How many stores have you closed? I mean, there's a huge market out there for what we have to offer right here, right now. Now, this is truly the definition of insanity. Keep doing what you're doing and expect different results. When no one can afford to buy your products or services because they have no means to pay for it, you will be out of business. That is your current paradigm. So the new way, what is it? Buy high and sell higher. What? Are you nuts? Who could do that? Well, a couple of caveats. First of all, you don't have to pay for your products or services. profits from trading, that's what pays for them. So there's lots of profits to grow and sustain your business. Let's look at this example. This is too good to be true, you say. What if it wasn't? What you don't know is that you don't know there's a better way. All you have ever been educated on and used to is the old way. So you have no idea there's a better way. So please take the time to read on. Commerce Through Capitalism, the Internet Catalog Club Way. What you're about to review is really nothing new, but rather the old commerce protocols brought into the 21st century through the Internet using promissory notes, international bills of exchange, and digital currencies under private contract. There is no debt. Any and all loans are fulfilled using self-liquidating loan process paid off through the profits earned from the trading of senior financial instruments within the licensed brokerage system. So if anybody says, give me the short and curlies, that's it, all right? That's all you have to do. That's how we do it. Well, how do you do that? Well, sit down, shut up, and listen. You're not going to understand this. You're in an old paradigm. You don't even know the new paradigm exists. So you're going to have to take some time and make that head change direction to see a better way. So you go to D22. This document will provide you a brief history of the rise and fall of commerce into the 20th century, and it will give you good insight into why commerce is the only way to salvage the world economics problems with promissory notes, real bills, and asset-backed digital currencies. All right, and so that's the Antel Fichetti overview. All right, so here's just one example. And again, you can modify this example, change the amounts from 200,000 to 2 million to 2 billion to whatever you want. And so take some initiative, make it work. So let's use a $200,000 promissory note held by a building construction company, hereafter called BCC. This promissory note is a part of a group of promissory notes received from Texas Holdings Inc., THI. THI bought all the empty building lots that the building construction company had for $900,000 using a Lastrada LLC PNs. All right, this is an example that's actually happening as we speak. Okay, so in this example, the building construction company is only going to spend $200,000 of the $900,000 it has in PNs, because it didn't get one $900,000 promissory note. It got several promissory notes totaling $900,000. It takes the $200,000 promissory note, instead of going to the bank to collect it, it takes it to Home Depot. And it says to Home Depot, this promissory note's as good as cash. And we're wanting to buy these building products and electrical supplies, plumbing supplies, toilets, bathtubs. Please deliver this list of these items to our job site so we may begin building a house there. Thank you. Now, just as they've always done, but purchased with a promissory note instead. And you're scratching your head and say, well, are they going to take that? Well, certainly they will if they understand this example. Here's how it works. The building construction company tells Home Depot to contact Lastrada LLC, the issuer of the promissory note, for collection options. Home Depot says to Lastrada LLC, how do I collect on this promissory note? Lastrada says, well, there's several ways. You could do this, you could do this, you could do that. But we suggest instead of you collecting on it, because if you do that, you're accepting it for the face value of $200,000, which is for the amount of the items purchased, there's a much more profitable way to do this. Here's what we suggest you do. You use this other protocol whereby you buy the promissory note from the building construction company without spending any money out of pocket. So in this case, here's what's going to happen. The building construction company is going to sell the promissory note to THI through Home Depot, and THI is going to pay the $200,000 in bank money to the building construction company. And then the building construction company is going to pay the $200,000 to Home Depot to buy the products they need to build the home, just like the old way. So Home Depot gets to sell the $200,000 worth of building materials as usual. It makes the profits that are available and from the sale of the building supplies, but instead of accepting the promissory note as payment, it asks THI to buy the promissory note for them. So Home Depot gets the $200,000 sale, they get the $200,000 promissory note, and they get $80,000 in cash. That's that 20% profit that we saw earlier in the webinar that's available through the protocol. So instead of just doing business the old way, the buy low, sell high way, buying wholesale for possibly $160,000 and selling for $200,000 and making only $40,000 on the sale to the building construction company to go build their house, Home Depot is now getting $480,000 for the same business with the same person. Do you see how? Not yet. Well, let's review. First, $200,000 in cash that the building construction company received from THI to buy the note. The building construction company then went and bought the supplies with that cash. So Home Depot got that money for the supplies. Second, Home Depot also got the $200,000 promissory note, and it asked THI to assist in the collection of the $200,000 promissory note. So Home Depot gets the $200,000. And they also get the $80,000 profit from the trading of the senior financial instruments. Then Home Depot realizes, wait a second here. That building construction company told me that THI gave them $900,000 in promissory notes for the lots, the empty lots. But the building construction company has only used one $200,000 promissory note. Home Depot asks, hey, construction company, are you going to build any more houses? Well, of course we are. Well, can we help you with that? Well, I guess so. Then Home Depot comes to THI and says that the building construction company has more promissory notes, and excuse me, THI says, yes, I know. I arranged for the building construction company to get them. Oh, Home Depot says, is there something we can do to help that building construction company out? THI says, of course there is. Will you sign this wealth management group contract with me? Is there going to be any hesitation? They already did it once. They made $480,000 instead of just $40,000. I think not. They've already done it, and they put money into the bank. Now, in this example, we've shown Home Depot how they can do the same business with the same customer, but it's much more profitable. Home Depot is not losing business to anyone else, and in fact, the building construction company is never going to go anywhere else because now BCC knows these promissory notes can be collected at their favorite Home Depot. There's no reason for BCC to buy anywhere else. There's also no reason to use the bank anymore. Isn't that amazing? It was all done through the licensed brokerage company. All you need the bank for is to hold your money for bank deposits only. I'm telling you folks, this is powerful stuff. Now that's a brief outline. Which makes more sense? Continue with the insanity plan or learn how to participate in commerce the ICC way? For more information, please put your information in there, send it out to your businesses. Obviously, don't just send it out as spam. Pick up the phone, call them, tell them that you've got something important, a better way to buy. You can make 480% as opposed to 40%. Sit down, shut up, and listen. I'm only kidding, of course. Anyway, actually, I'm not. So there you have it. Lots of good information to work with, and I'll get the recording up as soon as I possibly can. You want to obviously soak up all this information, review it. There'll be more information added as we go along in the next couple of weeks. Get your game plans in place for those of you that have already got your LHP retail admin fee in progress. You can start to work on your promissory notes. I'll be available to consult with you individually to get your employee gold application done and to get your business plans done and to help you with all your promissory note creation. All right, so there you have it. And those of you that are sitting there wondering what to do something. Study the material. Take action. Remember, you've got probably a ton of BVK, Zcash, and chips. You just need to get your shovel. Go out and earn your shovel. If you can't afford to pay for it yourself, then partner with somebody else. We had an interesting conversation this morning with one of our young members who was gifted the 500,000 Zcash. He's got a gentleman who's going to partner with him. Spent some time with him this morning, and he's just blown away with the whole concept. Wants to actively become involved, and that's what's happening time and time again. So if you don't talk to anybody, you won't get any results. But if you talk to some people, you might get some results. If you talk to lots of people, you're going to get rich. God bless you all. Thanks for being here. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.